Hello, so I'm back with another speed build. This time I'm doing a A-frame cabin in the woods. I've always wanted to do an A-frame build, but they've always intimidated me a little bit because you have to kind of faff around with the roofs quite a lot, and you've got like multiple roof parts, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to deal with that. But eventually I decided now is the time, I will finally do it. And to be fair, it didn't end up being as bad as I thought. I thought it'd be a lot more kind of tweaking, but it came together quite well, the roofs. So I'm just sorting out the layout here. I just wanted a general kind of generic A-frame cabin, so that's why we've just got this kind of rectangle. That's the easiest to work with an A-frame cabin. And then I wanted the bed to be on this platform, so that's what I've done. And then I wanted the rest of the area to just be like a cozy book nook. So I've made these inbuilt bookshelves, which is what I'm doing now. I just used columns and then a floating shelf, which I just pick the wood colour and just kind of move them up to just make all of these bookshelves. So I do that on both sides of the wall, like the wall next to it as well. I do that after. I just wanted to kind of get a rough idea with what I was doing with the interior before I started trying to perfect the roofs, just to make sure I had enough space inside what I wanted, rather than do the roofs and then realize, oh, I don't have enough space and I need to make it bigger and then have to redo all of the roofs. So here I am just kind of messing with the roofs. I wanted a skylight and I wanted the roofs to be as open as possible, so it's just nice and airy inside. It didn't feel like too small, because obviously it is a small house, a small room, so I wanted it to feel as open as possible. So that's what I ended up doing, was having the roof open mostly, and then there's a little bit of an attic on one side of the entryway, and in the attic there's just like a yoga mat, a meditation stool, and the bits like that. So I have gone with the wooden theme for the cabin in the woods. A cozy cabin in the woods, not a creepy cabin in the woods, I hope, anyway. Although that being said, I have built it in the new Life and Death world. What was it called? Ravenwood. I did build it there, and I did build it on the graveyard lot because that was one of the biggest lots, and I wanted it to be on a nice set of land with lots of trees and water, and I wanted to just have a river running through it first. But in the pack, in this world, there's loads of like swampy areas, so I thought I'd kind of lean into that. So I've made my own kind of swamp. We've got this like rivery bit running through, and then it does end up being like a big swampy bit of like loads of kind of like trees and stuff like going in. Do you know the ones with, I can't remember the names now, the ones with all like the roots that like go into the like, water, you can see like all the mangrove type things. So yeah, I've got that, and I just wanted a little bridge to go over the water because I like bridges. I think they're cool, I think they're cute, and you know, maybe you'll have less visitors if someone has to come over the rickety bridge into your cabin that's set into the middle of the woods that was once a graveyard. I know I'd probably avoid it. I wanted everything to just be made out of wood and everything just to feel homemade, handmade. Not like everything's completely in disrepair, but you know, it's fit for purpose. It doesn't need to be all swanky and new. So that's why I've gone for like the wooden bridge, and the outside kind of reflects that as well. I'm starting with the exterior now with all the trees. I do end up changing some of it. So at first I do it and I'm like, oh yeah, this is cute. It's all like orange and yellows and it's quite nice and pretty. And I was like, actually, it feels more like a fairy fae forest, which isn't what I wanted for. I didn't want this to feel like, I wanted to feel magical, as in the sense of like, oh, it's a beautiful forest and I feel like I get lost in here, but not actually magical. So I do end up changing the exterior a bit towards the end, just to kind of reflect more of the environment. So obviously you can place this house down wherever you want, but it does fit a lot better in the new world because I've used all of the new trees from there. I tried to just use, I think I pretty much just used trees from the base game and the new pack on the outside, just to make sure it all fit in with the surroundings. I do keep in this big orange tree because I think that was my favourite part. I thought it was like a big focal point of the outside, so I do keep that in. But everything else is just kind of dark greens and like, not dead and not dying, but that kind of general bit grey greens where you're like, oh, it's not as vibrant as I'd hoped, just because that then fits in more of the surroundings, and I just really wanted it to work. I didn't want it to feel like it stood out here. So because it's a swamp and you get lots of lovely swamp life, I've got lots of reeds, grasses growing out. There's not as many like cultivated flowers. There are some like wild poppies and I think a couple of patches of wildflowers, but yeah, otherwise it's just lots of long overgrown grass, and then there's the few pink flowers by the front door, which, you know, a little bit cared for. You've got that nice little area as you go in, but the rest is just all forest because I prefer a more like natural overgrown look to a more like kempt and maintained look. So I always do most of my builds like overgrown. So here you go, you can see it's very like orange and yellow, and with the pinks and blues it just doesn't feel as like dreary as I wanted it to. So I do go back and fix that, but I wasn't sure how I wanted to at the time, so I was like, I'll just move on to the interior and then I can figure out the exterior later, because I had a really good grasp of what I wanted to do inside by this point. So here I am finishing off these bookshelves, and then obviously if you're having like a cozy book nook corner, you need somewhere cozy to sit and you need a nice fire to curl up in front of. And then I thought, because it's a small room anyway, the fire could heat up the whole house, and it just makes a lot of sense, especially if you're just out in the middle of the woods. So I've gone for the whole wood theme inside. At first I didn't know if I wanted to. I didn't know if it'd be too dark or dreary, but I think I've managed to hit cozy instead of dark and dreary. And then I just have a lot of clutter items around, so I've used the platforms to just make this bit next to the bed just like one, I don't know, block higher, just as like a little bedside table, so you don't have to have any actual bedside tables up there. And then this is probably the only room I'm unsure about in the house, is the bathroom. Because there's no windows in there, I couldn't do it dark. Well, I didn't feel like I could do it dark. It just felt too cramped and too small, so I've gone for a lighter coloured bathroom, which I think does work, and I like the kind of like boho style sink with it, and like the dipped in flooring of the shower, and I like it. I don't know, maybe I could have done something a little bit different with the bathroom, but we'll go back to the bathroom and we'll see. And then this kitchen I played around with like 1,000 times, so I always use this country living, not country, what's the pack called? Anyway, the like country pack. I always use that, the kitchen, in everything. It is my favourite kitchen in The Sims. So originally, I tried every swatch, and I settled on the yellow to start with, because I was like, oh, the house is dark, it needs some brightening up. And then by the time I'd done the rest of the house and everywhere was dark greens and browns, and I was like, the yellow doesn't fit, so I do end up changing that to a dark green. I think it fits much nicer. So then I've just kind of popped around things you'd kind of expect to just see in like a small cozy house. We've got a lot of clutter, a lot of collection things. We've got like the jewelry boxes, the statues, we've got books. Up in the attic we've got like decorations, and we've got a suitcase and old clothes. Kitchen is quite small, so as you'd expect, a little bit of clutter. We've got kind of the hot chocolate. I didn't even realise the hot chocolate thing was in Build and Buy. I don't know if it's a new thing, I'm guessing it is. It says it's just base game, so but yeah, there's a hot chocolate kit in there now, so that had to go on there, because what's cozier than hot chocolate? I am a little bit all over the place with this one, because usually I do it kind of room by room, and then if there's any bits at the end that I'm like, oh, I haven't put this in, I'll go and add them in. But this one, because it was like so small and it's all open plan, I just was a bit everywhere. I was like, oh, I need to add this onto here and this up here and this down here. So yeah, sorry for being a little bit all over the shop with this. But we've also got some plants, because what book lover doesn't love plants? Well, I'd say that. I love reading, I love plants, but I'm absolutely terrible at keeping them alive. I mean, that might be due to my cat eating most of the plants, so other than like a big tree I've got next to me that they can't eat, that's the only thing that's living still, so but I'm hoping there's enough light with big skylight, and there's some big windows in there, so there should be enough light for all of the plants. And there does end up being a lot of clutter, well, not clutter on the walls, but like decorations. You've got the baskets, you've got a lot of different pictures and wall hangings and all the stuff around the kitchen, just to help it feel a bit more lived in and use as much space as possible, because when you live in a tiny space, I feel like you have to use the walls, like you have to use anything you possibly can. So that's what I've tried to do here, and just make it as cozy as I can. I even end up adding in a washing machine, so the little gap in the corner where I've put the brush, just the sweeping brush, I end up changing that to a washing machine, because I like to try and make my builds as realistic as possible, and you don't really want to try and find a laundrette anywhere around here, do you? So it's nice to have your own washing machine. But I did then forget to put a laundry basket in, and I did forget to put a clothesline outside. So if you play with it, you'll need to add those in or take the washing machine out. I know most people don't like actually playing with the washing because it can get really annoying. And I meant to go back in and add them in, but I completely forgot before adding it to the gallery. Which is another thing. I hate the gallery picture for this. It's so annoying that you can't pick your own picture to what goes on the gallery, because all the trees, it just looks like a mess. You can't really see what any of this is. So don't judge it too hardly by the gallery pictures. And then, of course, it wouldn't be a cozy book nook without without books everywhere. So we've got just piles of books, little books, couple of books together, book trays, the copybook, books by the bed, just books on the bookshelf, stacks of books, just books, so many books. There's like a diary, there's a desk to sit at and write, there's pews to sit on, there's a sofa to sit on, there's the bed to sit on, there's cushions to sit on. Anywhere you could want to sit and read, that is available. Because there's nothing worse than like sitting in uncomfortable positions. You want as many cozy spots as possible when you're reading. So that's what I've tried to include. And as I was doing the shelf, before I started putting the books on, I was adding all of the clutter items. And I was like, yep, this is looking nice and cluttered. This is great. There's not going to be much space left. And I was like, wait, hang on. I need books. You can't read in a cozy book nook area without books. And I was quickly like, oh, let me shove some books in before I completely clutter up the space. And then next to the book nook, I've also, so there's kind of like a small gap between the house and the outside. So it's like there's two walls. Because when you're doing the A-frame roof and you want to stretch it across with an open roof, you've always got to have like a solid roof section. I don't know if that makes sense. So you're kind of left with like a one square tile of roof that you kind of can't get rid of. So that's why I've got that gap you can see behind the bookshelf. And then it actually worked out okay because when I did the columns for the bookshelves, they stuck out on the other end. So I was like, oh, I needed that extra space just to hide those columns so I was sticking out on the other side. And then I thought a cute idea would be to use it as like a kind of like eaves, like it's not like the ceiling, it's not like actually like in the ceiling, is it? But so I just used the dog door for like cats and dogs, and I just put it at the bottom, hidden by the shelves, but you can still see where the door is when I put it in. And then in that gap I just put like an old stereo, some like moving boxes, just some bits and bobs. So again, just more storage, just shove stuff down there, kind of like a attic, but not an attic because it's on the ground floor. And then I'm just going through and adding so much more clutter to this area because as well, I feel like if you like reading and you love just sitting and being cozy, you probably also like board games. So I made sure to add in some board games behind there and some jigsaws. And then there's also like the tarot cards because I love them from the new pack, and like some of my sage and like crystals and bits. So I thought maybe like a lovely crystal-y lady can live here, like someone who's a bit witchy and someone who might like writing and reading alongside of that. And then in the entryway there's also just a couple of like hanging areas just to put like your jackets, your shoes. I think they have benches on them so you can sit down for ease. And then there's also just like a hanging area for like pot stuff. There's some empty pots in there. There's like a watering can and just bits like that. And then here in the bathroom, I've just added the shelf to the bottom of the shower just as somewhere to keep all of your like lotions and shampoos and shower gels, just everything you might need. Because I was like, I don't really know where to put it and looks like makes sense. I don't want to just like leave it all on the floor next to it. So I was like, oh, a little shelf looks nice there. It wouldn't be very practical having a wooden shelf just sat on the end of your shower. But it looks nice in The Sims. So I mean, maybe if you treated it with like water repellent treatment, I don't know, then you could have it in. And then I've just cluttered up the kitchen as much as I can whilst it's still being usable. So I've not put a microwave or anything in there, but we've just got, like I said, that hot chocolate tray. There's like freshly baked bread, there's the picnic basket, cookies jars, there's pots just on the stove and a kettle. I think it just gives it a really kind of homely feel. There's a couple of stools. I was worried the Sims wouldn't be able to get by the stools because that's all just fitted into one square gap where the stools are. I'm walking behind it, but I've checked and yeah, the Sims can all walk past it, so that's good. Like I said before, you have to have the extra roof bits that you can't get rid of, like this floor bit, so that's why I turned it into an attic. And I actually think it looks super cozy having the windows on both sides, like one where you can look out over the forest and one where you can look into your house. And I think I spend a lot of time up in the attic bit. Well, I don't know. I don't like heights. I really don't like ladders. So I don't know. Maybe I'd go up there and be stuck up there forever. And then I just felt like the bathroom needed something to make it a little bit cozier. So that's why I've just added in kind of the bath mat and the toilet mat. I don't really like toilet mats in real life, but it looked cozier in The Sims. And then I'd pretty much done with the interior. And that's when I was like, no, I need to fix this exterior because it just looks too fairyish. So I went a bit hard with all of the swampy water. I've made much more of the kind of land just swamp. And then I took out all of the colourful trees and I just replaced it with all trees that were used in this world. And I really like the swampy area. I think it looks nice. I think it looks swampy as much as you can kind of make it look swampy while still having like a nice forest and a house in there. Obviously I don't want the whole thing to be a swamp. I could make like a Shrek build. And then I just wanted a little seating area outside, so I've got this like broken patio area where I've just put a bench, like a picnic bench, and then there's just a small stove. Not much fancy, because again we're just living out in the middle of the woods. There's some wood up there, a couple of plant pots so you can plant stuff. We've got like bird baths and some more flowers and cozy lights, because when you're outside and you're just sat, you always need some cozy lights, especially when it gets really dark if there's no lights nearby. So that's always nice to have. And then I try to just make the swamp look as natural as possible. So obviously swamps are just teeming with lots of little life, like bugs, insects. You've got a lot of lily pads, pondweeds, like all of that stuff. Yeah, so I've added a whole bunch in, and I think it looks nice. It looks a lot nicer than just the plain water. And then I add in about 1 million different of these animal things. We've got fireflies, we've got fish, we've got ducks, we've got there's an alligator in there somewhere. I'm not sure if I put the mysterious bubbles in. I've put fireflies all around the place and dragonflies as well. I've just everything is teeming with life. So it does make it a little bit annoying to look at in build mode, because obviously then you've just got those big white squares everywhere. Like, I don't know how to do it differently, but I don't really like that that's how they look in build mode. So but it's not like you could put them down. It'd be really hard to like select fireflies to pick them back up. So I do get why it's done that way. It does make sense, and it's easy to spot to remove it. Then I'm just adding in some more vegetation just to make it look like it's all flourishing. And again, that bit at the front is a nice kind of kept area, and then the rest of it's all just like wildflowers and bushes and trees. I think it's worked out really well. And then now I'm just going in and adding all the grasses. I didn't grass the whole land, so if you've seen like some of my other builds, I like to go through and just add grass everywhere. I don't know, I don't like the flat ungrass, especially if it's like an unkempt area. Like, you're just gonna have overgrown grass everywhere. Like, grass just grows. So this time I've still got big chunks of grass everywhere, but I've not done it to every single piece of flat grass area. And then I just made sure I didn't see the poppies until the end, but they were in the new pack as well, which was kind of cute. So I've added them in. There's like red ones and orange ones, and then just added in a handful of these wildflowers. And I think it looks really nice. So I will hop into the game now to give you a quick show of the house, because we didn't really get a chance to actually see it room by room because I was just going a bit crazy with everything in all the rooms. Oh, but a side note, I think they just changed this today, and I hate this. I don't like it, but yeah, anyway, let's carry on. I think this is the character I'd moved it into. We'll find out. So here we are. This is the cabin. It is a bit of a dark day. I'm not doing it in build mode because I don't want the white squares from all of the bugs to be there. So this is all the big swampy area. I absolutely love it. We've got ducks on the water. We've got a boat. You can hear all of the cute like sounds. We've got all the reeds. There's a lovely like sitting area outside. You can just sit on this bench and just look out into the swamp and watch the ducks and everything else. There's not too much going on at the back. It's just, again, overgrown. We've got some wildflowers. We've got some big trees, trunks that have like fallen over. We've got lots of big trees and everything else. So that's the exterior, which I quite like. I think it's worked out well. And then if we go into the cabin, so I put the entryway in as well because I liked this door for the exterior, but then I didn't like it for the interior. I wish when they introduced like the ceiling painting a while back, I wish they introduced being able to paint roofs, because I hate that that's white, but what are we going to do about it? So this is the entryway. We've just got some gardening stuff, umbrellas, watering can. We've just got where you can put all of your clothes and just gain more storage, some cute pictures, a little bench to sit on and do that, just somewhere to shove your keys and the little lamp. And then this is the bit that leads into the attic area, so let's go up there first. So then this is the attic. We've got this yoga mat, and I've checked, Justin can use the yoga mat and they can use this meditation seat. That's all fine in the loft. And then there's just storage, some lights, a little table, some cushions just to sit and again read. And then this is what I meant with having to have this like extra bit for the roof. But I think it's okay. It's just more insulation, right? I think. And then you can look out across into the forested area, or you can look down into the home and look at how nice this is. It's just like, wow. Imagine just sitting over here and be like, wow, I live here. Like, I'd love it. So let's head in and see. So as you walk through the door, this is what you're greeted with. You've got your lovely skylight and the big stained glass windows. Over here, there's just some plants and just, you know, ironing board, cleaning stuff, and then into the bathroom, which I do like. I think it's too bright. I don't know. But it looks nice anyway to like shower in and just get clean and relax. So this is just a little bathroom. And then we come back out, we've got the kitchen. And I'm so glad I changed it to the kind of greeny colour. And then we've just got the washing machine again. More clutter, more bits in the kitchen. The lovely little candle on with the freshly baked bread, getting ready for hot chocolate. Oh, that's what you need on a nice overcast cozy day. Oh yeah, I changed this out to a wardrobe as well because I was like, I have nowhere for my Sims to store their clothes. Now, not that your Sims need to get dressed, but I like it to be more realistic. And I love these like bird feather prints. I can't remember which pack they came in, but oh, I love using them. There's loads of different ones if you've not seen them. And then no TV, because who needs TV when you've got this many books, you know? My to be read list is already long enough. I don't need to get distracted by anything else. And then just nice cozy fireplace, little stool. And then this is, see these little dog doors down there? And then this is where they lead to, just some storage in here, which I thought was a nice use of the space. And that's all of the bookshelves in all of their glory. And then a little writing desk. And then if we just go up the steps into the bedroom, and here we just have a nice little cozy bedroom. Just got some extra blankets and pillows down there if you're cold or want some extra comfort. And then this is the bedside kind of table bar bit. And yeah, I absolutely love this. Imagine just laying here and looking up and watching the trees sway, maybe birds go past. I don't know how I feel about the sun waking me up that early. Maybe eating some like roller blinds, but yeah, I really like it. So that's the end of the build. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like this, please like the video so I know to make more like this in the future. And if you'd like to see more like this again, please subscribe so that you don't miss any in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.